This is going to be actually a really fun and really informative session today. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be really, really solid. You might hear some kids in the background having fun. I personally love that. I hope you do enjoy it as well. We're going to start here looking at Bitcoin. We're going to focus in on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then we're going to take a look at the cross Ethereum versus Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at DOT versus Bitcoin. Also, we're going to take a look at Chainlink today. We're going to be taking a look at when is the best time to buy Bitcoin if you're not currently fully invested right now. Would you market buy right now? Would you show some patience? We're going to be checking in also, of course, probably, most likely, over on gold and silver, on the dollar. Brad has updated the DXY chart for us to share. Also be taking a look at the indexes, which are under a little bit of pressure right now as the politicians continue to play games. But nevertheless, that probably is offering some opportunity. We'll look at all of that. I want to start with Bitcoin today. And as we start with Bitcoin, I just want to bring this up to you over here. The Chamber of Digital Commerce has gone ahead and started this petition over here to stop the Treasury 11th hour rulemaking. This is something that you all are aware of. This is something that's pretty important. I'm going to share the link in the description below. And if you want to go ahead and sign that, please go ahead and do so. And if you can share that with anyone, that would be very, very helpful. We're going to start here with Bitcoin. What I want to do is start here on the 12-hour time frame. Just give you a little bit of perspective. I'm just getting my bearings over here. The first thing that I am seeing, right, is that we continue to consolidate right below this 27,500 resistance. It also looks to me that probably this looks like a nice consolidation over here. It looks like a possible bull flag is forming. If I go down to the 8-hour, it's a little cleaner. You could say, yeah, that's a bull flag for sure, right? Looks very nice, looks very solid. The drawdown over here has been about 9%. We looked at that yesterday. Peter McCormick from, I think the podcast is What Bitcoin Did. I do enjoy that from time to time. Went ahead and posted this on Twitter yesterday. And since we broke 10,000, we've had 5 drawdowns, and you could see that they've all been, let's say, reduced than the expected 30% drawdown we've been looking for. They've been a lot shallower. You could see over here we had a 10% drawdown, a little more than 9%. The big one over here was the 16.6% drawdown. Then we had another 11% drawdown, followed by an almost 9%, and then another 9%. You could see that we are seeing, on average, about 10% drawdowns occur. Does that mean that we're going to continue looking forward, only see 10% drawdowns for this bull market phase? It's possible. I don't lean in that camp. I have the mindset, and I think it's very important. Trading is so psychological. Investing is so psychological. I'm prepared at all times for a 30% drawdown plus, right? That's what I have in my mind. Now, the market is showing me ever since the halving that we haven't had more than a 20% drawdown. We had 2 20% drawdowns. And then since we've broken 10K, obviously the drawdowns have been more shallow and shallow. Over here, this is a follow over here. Alistair Milan, forgive my pronunciations over here. He pointed out that it's since BitMEX added KYC that we've seen these reduced drawdowns. Is that possibly playing a role? I don't know. Of course, myself, like you, probably attribute to these large institutions, public companies coming in here and buying Bitcoin is actually helping reduce these drawdowns, as well as everyone else, myself, you included. We're all more aware of the cycle, looking for those drawdowns to take advantage of and then cycle. And people understand this 4-year cycle and this bull market phase a lot more than they did going back into early 2017, and I think that's helping so far reduce the significance of the drawdowns, but at the same time be mentally prepared that we could always have those more substantial drawdowns at any time. I think it's very helpful. Right, looking at the chart right over here, though, and the question a lot of people are asking right now is, listen, I've been watching over the last couple of months the price of Bitcoin since it was at like $9,000, $10,000, and I've been waiting for an entry, and I see that it just keeps going up and up. Is it now a good time to market buy? What do you do if you're not fully positioned? Should I give it more time? Should I be looking for and waiting for that 30% drawdown? which may never come, or should I be fully invested? You know, this reminds me of when we were trading right around somewhere between 12 and 13,000 in that area. And I kept saying, listen, this is cheap Bitcoin. When we're looking at from this point, right, we're looking for a 10x from here. Plus, does it really matter if you're getting in at 13,000 or 11,000? It's cheap Bitcoin, in my opinion. A lot of people at that time, they really didn't see that same vision I had. I think now they understand that a lot more. And it's completely relevant right over here when Bitcoin is trading at $26,000, $27,000. Why do I say that? Because it's still cheap Bitcoin. What do I mean by it's cheap Bitcoin? From my point of view, from my perspective, I don't believe in the coming bear market phase. And it's too soon to even discuss what that bear market phase is going to look like at this point. Right now, we're focused over here on what's happening in front of us. We're in the bull market phase of the cycle, right? I don't think no matter what happens in that bear market phase that we're going to trade below $30,000, $35,000. Therefore, anything under that price I consider to be very cheap Bitcoin. Now, you could look at it another way. You could say over here, right, the goal that I put out there that I believe that all of your goals should be achieved if we reach 140,000. I did the math showing you why I thought it was a $160,000 price target during the bull market phase. But I've also since said, listen, the market is showing me that we're not seeing diminishing returns, right? So I have to be open to the possibility that we're going to way overshoot $160,000. And I explained why, but that again, that's too soon. We don't need to be talking about that right now. I do believe that you should work out all of your objectives that if Bitcoin reaches $140,000, not that you should take full profit off the table. I'm going to try my best personally to exit within 25% of the top print of this bull market. That's my goal. That's my objective. Could it change where I say, wait, we have entered a super cycle. Maybe I don't want to exit Bitcoin at all. Maybe. You know that I adapt to what the market is showing me, right? At the same time, if Bitcoin reaches $140,000, you should have met all your objectives. I firmly believe that. Everything above that is going to be the cherry, the whipped cream, the sprinkles, the hot fudge, everything. And if it's available, we're going to take it. But I think over here, if I was not fully invested in Bitcoin, I would be getting myself fully invested. And at the same time, I would be expecting we could have a 30% pullback. That would take us technically over into this area over here, right around 19,500, a little higher. A 30% drawdown would be 19,800. But above this last resistance where we held for about 30 days for a month. And then when we broke out over a little less, about 20, 30 days over here, about a month of trading over here, and this is big resistance. We broke out. Technically, not only is that a 30% drawdown, that should be very strong support. That would be healthy. If I bought over here and Bitcoin dropped down, if I had any more available funds, I would definitely add to the position. I would not be looking to exit my position. I would just be ready mentally to be able to withstand that type of drawdown. But at this point in time, the risk remains, in my opinion, to the upside. At this point, we are a little stretched. But again, until we're trading around $40,000, I won't be looking for what I call a bigger pullback. Okay? Now, there's always risks in the market, right? There could always be that black swan event that could cause, obviously, a bigger drawdown. But from my perspective, what I'm looking at right now, until we're trading up towards $40,000, which, by the way, is about 150% off this 16,200 low, the 16.5% pullback, that's the area that I'll say, all right, I'm going to be open and be watching for a bigger drawdown. I don't think we're there yet. Yes, the market is stretched out to the upside right now. It's possible. This consolidation we're seeing right now is very healthy. But we're seeing the market, the dynamics of the market, they are changing, and we have to adapt with it over here. So that's it. The market, in my opinion, is uber bullish right now. I'm not looking personally for a pullback. You all know since 19,000, when a lot of people were looking for that bigger pullback after we recovered from that 16.5% drawdown, I said, listen, I'm fully invested, and I think the risk is to the upside. It remains so that way. So that's it on Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum over here really quick before we get into Ethereum Bitcoin, which I really want to look at. And you can see over here, yesterday we were watching this level, the 730, 729 level. We were trading above it at the time, but you could see that we never closed above it. That resistance is still holding. That's still resistance right there. Just so I keep my charts neat, let me go ahead and put that back to red. We're trading right below it. But again, just like Bitcoin is consolidating right now in that bull flag, Ethereum has a similar structure over here. Everything looks very healthy over here. Would you take this entry on a breakout above, right? Crypto has the tendency on breakouts to actually hold breakouts, where in foreign exchange on the currencies, we always look for that high probability, that breakout, that retest, and that resumption. Is it a bad trade to take the breakout if you get the signal over here? For me, that would be price making a higher high above this previous price bar outside of this, what I drew, this rough sketch of a bull flag. Let me come down to the 4 hour just to get a look at it with you. It's a lot clearer over there, right? Would I take that over here above 738? Yeah, that's a great trade for me. I would keep a tight stop loss for sure underneath this low print over here, right around 686, and that's how I would figure out what my position size is over here. Ethereum looks very solid. I want to look at Ethereum Bitcoin with you. This was brought to my attention and shared by Vlad. If you want to follow Vlad on Twitter, it's at PlannerVision. PlannerVision. I will include his link over in the description of this video as well. I really love that everyone within our community is starting to network and interact with each other, especially on Twitter, keeping that conversation going. So listen, what Vlad did was pointed out to me over here, and I'm going to come down to a weekly chart over here, right? And just stay with me 1 second. What I'm going to do is make this so that you could really get a clean, good look at it. All right, and here's what Vlad did point out to me. He said, hey, Jordan, just take a look at this, see what you think, right? And when I first looked at his chart, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I then went to his trading view. I looked at it, and I said, all right, I see what he's talking about. I pulled it up on my chart, and at first I was like, oh, no, I don't. And then I was like, yes, absolutely, I concur. And I thanked him. I said, you know what, I'm going to share this with everyone. This is a really good look. This could actually be very helpful to a lot of people over here. Connecting the high over to the top of the wick over here, right? And then we had another touch over here in August of 2020. And then again over here in November, late November, also in 2020, we've had 3 touches over here to this trend line over here. I'm going to zoom in over here. You could see that right now, though, we are underneath this. This was support. We broke below it and currently are testing that bit of that should be resistance right now, or I should say that could be resistance. As we zoom in right now to get a better look at what's going on with this in mind, this trend line over here, you know I love those big multi-year trend line breaks. Here's one that could possibly be setting up soon. Wait for the break, right? Let's look at what's going on a smaller time frame over here. Let me start over here on the 12 hour and see how that helps us. Let me set this to auto. You can see that right now, a couple of things. I had this trend line in over here, and you can see that we're currently into that resistance, and there's that was support, broken, now resistance line I showed you. Getting above this trend line right over here, this resistance, that would set up the opportunity for the aggressive entry over here on Ethereum Bitcoin. Now, you all know I was tracking it when we broke out of this pattern over here. This was a descending wedge pattern that we were in, and when we broke out of that, looked like a very good entry for me as we came back in, and then we came into that resistance right around here. I was saying this looked like a really good entry. It never really materialized, right? And then breaking down over this area of support, that was obviously the exit signal. Since then, Ethereum, Bitcoin has not been looking good. I personally do expect a very strong alt season. I did say by the end of February, if that was not taking place, that I would reconsider. Obviously, I have no desire to be right. I only want to be correct. Whatever the market's showing me, that's how I want to be positioned. I still believe that we're going to see an explosive alt season, but if for any reason, by the end of February that's not happening, I'm going to reevaluate. Right? You all know all that I could do is just follow the price action on the charts. That's what I'm doing here with Ethereum Bitcoin over here. And this was a bit of an anomaly, right? I didn't expect this to happen. It happened. right? This also happened, by the way, on Bitcoin US dollar over here. When I say that happened, that was during the liquidity crisis. I don't think that we were supposed to break this trend line over here. This was during the liquidity crisis and we broke it, right? It's a similar situation over here. I can't give you any type of event that occurred that would cause it where I could say, oh, I don't understand why we broke down over here, right? Bitcoin is acting a little bit different this cycle, and it's because of a couple of things. There's many different nuances. One of them is in the last cycle, right? First of all, there were a lot of ICOs being launched on Ethereum, and people were using Ethereum to go ahead and invest into those ICOs. Also, at that point, people were wondering, what is the next Bitcoin going to be? Right? What particular project, what coin is going to be better than Bitcoin? At this point in time, 4 years later, everyone knows that there's no one that competes with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. However, there is a lot of potential in other projects for them to really become something gigantic, and Ethereum is one of them. Ethereum has lots of network effects. Ethereum, as far as protocols, has the first mover advantage. The most amount of developers are developing on top of the blockchain. And Ethereum, why it's very still highly speculative. I don't consider Bitcoin to be highly speculative at all. I consider Bitcoin to be proven technology. Proven technology that you could have the CEO of a company, Michael Saylor, invest $1.3 billion onto the blockchain. They feel comfortable with that. Right? Ethereum is still speculative technology, and that means that there's potential for higher gains, especially as we enter this speculative stage of the bull market phase. I do believe, as in 2020, Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin, that for a large part of 2021, I do expect that to continue. Now, that's not a given, just because I think that's going to happen. If at any point in time we're seeing, actually, this cycle is different, and this cycle is only going to be about Bitcoin because the institutions are putting money into Bitcoin. Okay, we'll reevaluate. Following here, what's going on technically, though, what I'm looking for is if we get that, I showed you that on the weekly chart, Ethereum, Bitcoin, going from the all-time high down to today, this trend line right over here, right? If we break above that trend line, that says to me that we're going to start seeing that really massive move in Ethereum against Bitcoin. And that could be something that some of you want to take advantage of. I want to be very clear. For me, it's all about Bitcoin, right? I'm going with what I believe to be the safest, most high probability investment. For me, that's Bitcoin. There are people who wish to speculate and find a way to be able to grow their Bitcoin stack. If someone's investing in Ethereum, Bitcoin, really the main reason they're trying to do that is because they would like to gain more Bitcoin. So this is an option, and because it's an option and it's something that I believe is a viable option, I will go ahead and do my best to walk everyone through it for those that are interested in it. And as you get back above this trend line over here, this broken support, which is now acting as resistance, that would be the aggressive entry. The safe entry is getting a break above this trend line over here. That's when really the party should get started, and we should start seeing some nice gains against Bitcoin. We've seen people today over here on Twitter. This is QNYX Investing. Go ahead if you would like to give him a follow over here. This is pointing out what is happening on DOT today. Brandon also all over this over here. You could see this big triangle over here. This is DOT versus the US dollar, and you could see that breakout of the triangle. Now look versus Bitcoin over here. You could see this big descending wedge over here. We've had a breakout and then a retest and now a resumption up. So we're starting to see a move in alt versus Bitcoin. Again, in my opinion, this is all right on time. Now let me come down to the 8-hour over here. There you go. I personally, I had this one trend line on this chart over here. You all know that I'm not personally focused in on trading the alts over here, but you could see from that one trend line over here, you could see that breakout, retest, and resumption conquering the markets all day long. Now, there are risks, and that's why I brought up to you. Again, this was my really good friend John who pointed this out to me. He pointed out this petition over here. If you want to go ahead and sign the petition against the latest Treasury regulation or rule, this is something that you want to, you could go ahead and help out. The reason, we just saw what happened with Ripple. Right? We just saw that the SEC filed charges against Ripple. We saw Ripple being delisted versus multiple exchanges and the enormous risk you have over here. Why? Right? So is that possible that we're going to see that happen on other projects? Right? There is chatter out there that perhaps Chainlink could also be one to worry about over here. Perhaps Chainlink is going to come under similar scrutiny that XRP has, or I should say that Ripple has. It's quite possible, right? You have to be aware, and if that were to happen, there are risks involved. The reason I'm just focusing on that right now, nothing is a given. Make sure that you are always risk adverse. Make sure that you are always using stop losses, and make sure that you are always positioning your trade side according to where your stop loss is. Okay? Very, very important. Nevertheless, let's focus in on what's happening on price on Chainlink right now. This is versus the US dollar over here. And you can see right now it's been under pressure. It was actually, some people picked up almost $8 Chainlink, in my opinion. That was a buy. I don't remember. It was the last time we looked at it. It was the last time we looked at it, right? I said that we could see the last time we looked at Chainlink on this channel right before vacation. I talked about that we could see $9.30, right? Was it $9.30, or maybe I think it was $9.80 on Chainlink. We went down way below there. We went all the way down to $8. Some people picked up some nice Chainlinks. By the way, on altcoins, Alan has pointed this out, often enough. Sometimes if you're interested in a project across whatever exchanges you're using, you can put in some buy limit orders way outside of market, just in case there's a spike down in that low liquidity and they get filled. It's probably worth your time and effort if that's something you're interested into. Over here, you can see Chainlink right now is testing over here this bit of resistance. Look over here, the 1 touch, the 2 touch, the 3, the 4 touches of support over here. Broken, it held as resistance, right? We're not trading below that resistance. It's resistance right now. It looks like that we have the potential over here to break and close above that. Would that be an area that I think Chainlink would be interesting to go ahead and buy? Only if you understood the project, only if it was something that you were interested in actually taking an investment in, and you had your risk set accordingly. From a trader's perspective, I would wait until you get above 1345. I would wait till you get above this resistance over here to look for a momentum entry into Chainlink. So for me, I would just be on the sidelines over here waiting for a better opportunity. But I just wanted to point out that some people, perhaps maybe that's why it's off 8% today. Perhaps people are worried about Chainlink possibly being thrown under or is under the radar of the SEC. I don't know. Again, I kind of follow what's happening on the charts. But definitely the whole point of all that was just reinforcing you the importance of making sure you're always focused on your risk, that you have stop losses in, and that you're setting your position size depending on how far away your stop loss is away from entry. I want to focus over here on the DXY just one quick second. As I talked about this yesterday, I was obviously I'm on vacation. I'm out of my rhythm. I was not really up to date on what was going on with Brexit and a deal. You all knew. Thank you for informing me in the comments. Thank you for your humility, right? The way that which you brought that to my attention, I really appreciate that. It's very generous and kind of you. And Alan was letting me know, of course, that he says that a deal was reached, but it was a pretty hard deal, I guess you could call it. And my focus is how is the market reacting right today, and it's really a muted reaction. You saw yesterday the pound selling off. Today it's made back most of those gains. The market is not really making any type of repricing anything whatsoever. That's important for me to know and understand how the market is reacting. Will that change once everyone comes back from vacation after the first week of January? Perhaps. We'll be watching the dollar. There's not much to add to the conversation today. Brad went ahead and shared with me this updated view of the channel that we follow on the DXY. So we'll be following this, and you can see that right now we're currently over here maintaining below that resistance over there. All very bearish over here. Even if we broke out above it, I would then only be looking for a retrace into this line. It's a breakout above this outer line that would signal to me that we could be seeing perhaps a bigger move for the dollar. Right now, that's not happening, right? We're going to focus on what's happening right now. I want to come over to the indexes because that's what's happening. They're under a little bit of pressure led by the Russell, right? And this is because we're seeing games played with our good friends over there, the lawmakers, and that's what it is, right? After passing all of this foreign aid and pork, when it came down to the American people, of course, it's games. And over here, you can see that price on the Russell has pulled back into this area of support. If it were to hold over here and price start resuming off, if you're interested in investing right now inside the Russell, is that an opportunity? I think this pullback is an opportunity. Right now, it is a bit of a falling knife situation. Not a fast-moving one, but it's a falling knife. You don't want to buy as price comes into that support. You want to wait for price to hold the support level, resume off. That's your safe entry. I think this is an opportunity over here as the markets are coming off. Again, I look at 2021, and the signal that I'm definitely looking at, you all know, is the expansion of the central bank's balance sheets and the devaluation of fiat. It's not as if the value of stocks is going up so much as that they're going up relative to the loss of purchasing power of the dollar and fiat. So do I think that this is a good place over here, over this retrace over here? If this support holds, yes. And if not, wait. This is another area of support to look for down below it over here at 1894. S&P looks a little bit better over here. It's still maintaining that breakout over here of this channel over here. This upper resistance where my mouse is right now, that's where price so far is bottoming out. Again, if we're able to hold over here and resume off, the technical nature of all the indexes is super bullish, including the Russell, which is off 2.3% today. You can take a look at the Nasdaq and see the same thing. Look at that trend line. Beautiful holding over here. Price right now just pulling back to that last bit of broken resistance to see if that holds as support. So in my opinion, if I was interested in the indexes, I would be watching them now intently to see if we get that entry signal. Let me just take a look at the Dow because I'm interested. And again, same thing. Again, we've just pulled back into that first area of resistance. It's important if we don't hold across the board, we're expecting our test of the lower level of support. That would be and offer just a better opportunity. So I think it's time to start watching the indexes if you're interested in trading them, and that includes all individual stocks across the board. Now's the time to watch price and to kind of be stalking your entry, right? Now's the time to be watching and waiting for what wave you want to get on, watching for the entry. What about do we want to take a look over here at silver? This is gold, right? Again, it's just a question of simple having that patience. This is where a lot of traders go wrong. A lot of traders want the entry, right? If you want the entry on gold right now, a lot of traders take it without waiting for the actual entry signal. And that's where things go wrong. If you're watching gold right now, you're close to a trigger. Wait for the signal. Wait for the signal. That's a breakout of this trend line over here. It's actually trading above 1914. We'll keep watching it together. It's not happening right now. What about on silver, however? Yes, right? You can see even on silver, we made, after holding this 26 support, we've made a higher high. We've spiked down, but people could be long right now silver, and that's a good trade. Where would I have put my stop, right? And it's very clear. I would have it below this support over here at 24.87. I would have it below over there. I want to know where I'm wrong. Could you use a tight stop over here? Yes, you can. I wouldn't. If we break out over here, I'm looking at taking out the 29.50 2020 high and then soaring. So I would be using the safer stop over here. No matter what stop you use, make sure that you have the same risk per trade. But neither of those things are attractive right now. It continues to be all the action is occurring over here, obviously on Bitcoin and the crypto market. Those of you that have been patiently waiting for alt season, now's the time. We're really going to be watching it. Brandon continues to put out some nice work over here. His channel is also linked in the description below, as well as Heath continues to put out more and more content. These guys are part of my inner circle. They're part of Conquering the Markets. I support them fully. I think that you should be paying attention to what they're doing. And that's it, everyone. It was a fun session. Like I said, a little bit different, but I had a blast with it. Hope you all are doing well. It's January the 4th. We'll return to our live streams. Monday, January the 4th. That day for me will not be a trading day. I'll be making sure I get into the flow. I'll be looking at all the currencies, right? All the FX pairs. I'll be just trying to get into my rhythm, right? For setting up for what happens on Tuesday. And that week is when I will be starting my first trades on FX of 2021. But if you're interested, when we'll, because I miss them. I miss all of you. I really enjoy what we have. It's very unique, very special. Monday, January the 4th, we'll resume our normal schedule this week. I'll keep you updated every day, that's for sure. Have a beautiful one. I'll talk to you later.